To make sense of the correlation matrix, we'll start with a quick refresher on construct validity, convergent validity, and discriminant validity, and then provide you with a demonstration of those concepts within a TalentTrack Solutions report. Construct validity is simply about whether a test is really measuring what it says it's measuring. If a test claims to measure something like leadership or conscientiousness, construct validity asks, is this test actually capturing that trait, or is it picking up something else instead? Convergent and discriminant validity are two tests that provide evidence for construct validity from different angles. Convergent and discriminant validity are two different ways of checking whether a test really measures the underlying construct you say it measures. Convergent validity refers to how closely a test is related to other tests that measure the same or similar constructs. For example, let's say you give software engineer candidates a technical interview where they solve coding problems and explain their thinking. They are also given a multiple-choice technical knowledge test on algorithms, data structures, and debugging. If candidates who score high in the technical interview also tend to score high on the technical knowledge test, this may be evidence of convergent validity. Discriminant validity refers to the extent to which a measure does not correlate strongly with measures of different, unrelated constructs. For example, imagine you give candidates a cognitive ability test to evaluate their ability to solve problems and test their reasoning. Next, an integrity test is then administered to evaluate the candidate's honesty and tendency to follow rules. If scores on the cognitive test are only weakly related or not related to scores on the integrity test, that pattern likely supports discriminant validity. Now that we have reviewed construct validity, convergent validity, and discriminant validity, we can move on to the correlation matrix. TalentTrack Solutions software provides a correlation matrix within the Adverse Impact Report to better help you evaluate the validity of your assessments. In this example, applicants participated in a technical interview, situational judgment test, and cognitive ability assessment. As you can see on the screen, the technical interview shows a perfect correlation with itself, which is exactly what we'd expect. The same thing happens when the other two assessments are compared against themselves as well. Next, let's look at the correlation between the situational judgment assessment and technical interview. Rather than a perfect positive correlation, we are instead seeing a weak negative correlation.
This indicates that these assessments are likely measuring two different constructs.
As we compare the cognitive ability assessment with the technical interview, we see a similar pattern. It is also a negative and weak correlation. Now moving on to the correlation between the situational judgment test versus the cognitive ability test. This is displaying a positive correlation, however, it is important to note that this is still considered relatively weak.